Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is the Real Sports Talk. Less than a month till pitchers and catchers report to spring training. Not too far off from the World Baseball Classic. And Justin and I will be starting our 30 clubs, 30 previews, previewing every MLB team in depth over the next couple weeks after the Super Bowl gets over. That's what we're going to be turning our focus to. Today, a huge MLB trade fairly late in the offseason. The Atlanta Braves this offseason, they lost Chipper Jones to retirement, and Michael Bourn they basically lost, even though he has not signed with another team, because they were able to sign B.J. Upton to play center field, because he's a few years younger, brings a little bit more pop, so they had B.J. Upton into their outfield. Rumors started coming out yesterday that the Diamondbacks were discussing a a Justin Upton trade that would send Upton to Atlanta. And Ken Rosenthal said that the Braves felt like this was a make-or-break day and that either something was going to get done or be close to getting done or the deal would fall through. Turns out, here we are 24 hours later, Justin Upton is no longer an Arizona Diamondback. He is headed to the Atlanta Braves to join his brother BJ. That's one of the most interesting storylines of this offseason, is that you have these two brothers teaming up in Atlanta now to replace some of the guys that the Braves have lost throughout the offseason. The entire trade, Justin Upton and Chris Johnson, who's a third baseman, they will be heading to Atlanta. In return, the Arizona Diamondbacks will get Martin Prado, who is a very valuable piece, can play pretty much every position in the infield, and can play the corner outfield spots. Very valuable piece. The Braves are going to miss his depth off the bench, and quite honestly, I am surprised that they ended up trading him, because everyone always felt like Prado would take over for Chipper Jones full-time once Chipper Jones retired. I guess that they felt like getting a guy in Justin Upton, you can take having a guy like Chris Johnson at third base if you have the chance to go get someone like Justin Upton. They also get the biggest piece in this deal besides Justin Upton, Randall Delgado, who was a top prospect for the Braves, who our team was a very good surplus of pitching. The Arizona Diamondbacks will get Randall Delgado, shortstop prospect Nick Ahmed, and pitching prospect Zeke Spruill, and minor league first baseman Brandon Drury. I think it's actually a very good trade for both teams because the Braves needed a little bit more pop into their lineup. Justin Upton brings them that. You add him in with B.J. Upton, Jason Hayward, Dan Uggla, Freddie Freeman. You have a really nice lineup in Atlanta now. Brian McCann. You have a really nice lineup in Atlanta now. A team that a few years ago was all pitching and didn't bring much in the way of hitting. That's not the case anymore. The Braves now have a good lineup to go with a very good rotation and a stacked bullpen. And for all the good that the Washington Nationals have done in the offseason, they just got Rafael Soriano last week. The Atlanta Braves aren't looking too bad on paper either, and they're a team that is going to be dangerous heading into the 2013 season. As for the Diamondbacks, I really wonder why they traded Justin Upton away. There just must be something that we don't know, and this should be a concern for the Braves. Why were the Diamondbacks so eager to trade away a guy who's 25, 26 years old, isn't making a lot of money, and he's coming off a bad season? It's not like they're catching him where his value's high. He's coming off a disappointing season, a year where I felt like he could have been the MVP. So for the Diamondbacks, I really wonder if there's something more that we didn't know as to why they're trading Justin Upton. In the outfield now, this is how they'll look. They'll have Cody Ross, who they signed this offseason. He's likely to play in center. Jason Kubel will play left, and Gerardo Parra will be in right field. So they have still a respectable outfield, but certainly they lose their probably best overall hitter in Justin Upton. And in losing him, you're going to ask a lot more out of guys like Paul Goldschmidt to step up and be that top prospect that he was and to really perform that way this year. Randall Delgado is a very good piece to add in. I know he's been inconsistent in his first two seasons, 2011 and 7 games at a 2.83 ERA. That doesn't tell you much though. Last year in 17 starts, 18 total games, Delgado went 4-9 with a 4.37 ERA. He's 22 years old. I've talked with Kevin McAlpin of the Braves Radio Network, 680, I think it is, in Atlanta, and they looked at Randall Delgado as a very high piece. Now they have Julio Teheran. They have the reason they were able to do this is because they have so much depth, not only veterans, but young guys coming up. So they were able to trade away a guy like Randall Delgado. That does not mean that they didn't value him very high, because they looked at him as a piece that could help this team for the future. And ultimately, he is a piece that they trade away, but it's a very good piece because they feel like they're getting back a guy who can almost be like a franchise player in Justin Upton. The D-backs add Randall Delgado to Brandon McCarthy, who they signed this offseason, Trevor Cahill, who I'm still waiting for him to put it all together. I think he has Cy Young type stuff. Ian Kennedy, who 2 years ago was one of the best pitchers in the MLB. Wade Miley was one of the best rookies. You got Corbin, Hudson, Skaggs. One of the deepest rotations in the MLB. Obviously, you can only throw 5 guys into a rotation, and Hudson's coming off some injuries, but some of these guys may be made expendable now that you add in yet another pitcher. I wouldn't be surprised before the season gets going in spring training if you see the Diamondbacks move on from one of these guys and go after another piece that could potentially help them, whether it's an infielder or a utility guy, whatever, or a bullpen arm. I would expect that the Diamondbacks do make a trade before the season gets going. Ultimately, Justin Upton is headed to the Atlanta Braves. Very young, very bright player. Like his brother, has never been able to do it year after year after year consistently, but we've seen flashes from Justin Upton. The Braves are hoping that those flashes turn into a little bit more consistency as he begins to reach the prime of his career, and he will head to Atlanta. The Diamondbacks get back a very good package. For me, this is a win-win for both sides. Diamondbacks, Braves make a huge trade. I'm Tim Kelly. This is The Real Sports Talk. I'll see you guys later.